All right, polar bear. I was waiting for us to catch up here. Yeah, this was in my folder. I figured I'd get to it eventually, but this was
on Earth.
A month ago. This was posted, and as I said, I'm a real huge fanatic when it comes to ancient civilizations, the theories of ancient technologies. But all right, so this one's about like 30 minutes long. So I'm going to try not to speak as much as possible. But of course, I got to put my 2 cents in because I've been studying this stuff as far back as kindergarten. The Oak Island, the Bermuda Triangle, Egypt. I've been studying ancient Stonehenge. I've been studying ancient civilizations from the time I was like 5 years old. Actually 4, because I used to watch the Leonard Nimoy show In Search Of. Love that show. Always love that show. So I've been fascinated with ancient civilizations, ancient technologies, ancient peoples, as far back as I can remember. But this channel is Mystery History 2.
There are a considerable number of ancient anomalies located within Egypt. These ancient feats of engineering litter sites and the quarries the stones were sourced and shaped at. And although many of you would have heard of Aswan Quarry, Elephantine may be a less familiar location to you, and for good reason. Not only are the pyramids one of the most perplexing, near perfectly constructed, and as yet unexplained ancient art.
See, that's what I was trying to point out earlier, Polar Bear, is the fact that it's not like, it is a megalithic structure like Stonehenge. Well, not like Stonehenge, way more complex than Stonehenge. I mean, look at the striations. This is not carved by hand. There's no way. I've got friends and family. We're talking people who are experts, like fucking like geniuses when it comes to handcrafting, hand carving, and everything. And yeah, there's no, look at that. There's no way that that is hand carved. It's no, it's almost like it's scooped out. You can't get that from just sitting there with chiseling. No, it doesn't work that way. But anyway, let's keep going. But as I said, this is way more complex than Stonehenge. Way more complex.
Architectural accomplishments on Earth. But how an ancient civilization, supposedly placed within permitted known archaeological history, accomplished such a feat, or indeed why? What was their original purpose? Academic contradiction, a severe lack of anomalous artifacts explored, never mentioned or somehow conveniently go unnoticed. However, in the real world, beyond the boundaries of the fenced or so-called...
I mean, look at that. It's all scooped. It's it's like somebody just taking, an ice cream scoop and just coming through. It's one motion. Actually, it's kind of like, like doing an ice cream scoop where it's not, well, unless you heated up the ice cream thing, but it's actually like a scoop, 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 scoop. That's not chisel marks. And I don't understand when these archaeologists want to go, oh, it was hand tools. With what? Bronze? Bronze can't survive that. And obviously, people keep saying, oh, they didn't have steel back then. So then what did it? And yeah, I know I'm not going to be one of these, well, actually I am. I love, Ancient Aliens. Love that show. Do I believe? I might as well say this in this video. Do I believe in aliens? Yeah, I do. Because you look at how older. I'm not even talking about the things on land. We're finding like the one, that city, lost city that he found off the hundreds of meters down off the coast of Cuba. For these civilizations, there's the one off the coast of Japan. There's a whole bunch of these civilizations we're finding off our coast under hundreds of meters of water. The only way that these places would have existed would have been tens of thousands of years ago. And if we were cavemen at that point, then explain who did it then.
Schools of education. Thanks to our own work and the presentation of such a volume of inexplicable events artifacts, ruins, or megaliths, along with many others allied within similar fields, independently funded researchers, investigative agents, and many more, sometimes even noticed first by a viewer credited with its rediscovery within our coverage. Thanks to all this movement working to expose such enigmas, has meant that not only are these incredible characteristics now being documented, mentioned, popularized, photographed, and studied more and more each day, now being recognized by more and more critically thinking individuals.
Look at the striations. The only way you can, I mean, look how perfect they are. Evenly spaced, perfect. The only way you would get something like that is a machine. Hand cannot do perfect fucking lines, not numerous lines. That is like a record. Those are grooves, and they're perfect, evenly spaced. There's no way you can do that by hand, especially in the time frame of them to build these ancient cities. I guess you could do it by hand, but do you know how long it would take? You might as well not even be done.
Individually finding evidence of lost technologies that had until then either been undiscovered or deliberately overlooked by the funded academic. The vast catalog of unexplained architecture, again growing by the day, but also the often accompanying curious stone cuts, scars, and striations, all clearly left by high-speed disc cutting machine, a signature tool mark, identical to that which is left by modern-day power tools, along with the still absent demonstration of the methods used to construct the pyramids, leads anyone to this ongoing and seemingly most controversial of arguments regarding the origins of the ruins found across Egypt. The Colossus of Memnon, each one weighing far over 1,000 tons, would sing every morning an amazing ability we have covered in a previous video, a curious characteristic reported all the way up until the Roman era. We also covered the thick layer of sea salt once found coating the pyramid's ground and underground caverns, along with a water line reported at around 40 meters up their sides, still visible during the Spanish invasion.
This is when I decided I'm going to make my video on this. I basically watched this video up until this point. Sea salt covering half of the pyramid, the Great Pyramid. That means the pyramid was already there. And for there to be an actual sea, and I've pointed this out, I think, in other videos, I didn't even know this until a couple of years ago. There are hundreds of whale fossils in the Sahara Desert. I think it was during an Ancient Aliens episode, actually, that I saw. And I was like, whoa, how am I just now hearing about this? That the Sahara Desert was an actual ocean. There was a sea there. It's like, did y'all know that there were like hundreds of whale bone, like fossils in the Sahara? And I was like, oh, no, I didn't know that. And it's like, yeah, there was a sea here. The pyramid had to already be built for there to be a line, a sea line, an actual salt line halfway up the damn thing. That means the pyramid was there. Then there was a flood or a sea that lasted long enough, because we're not talking about like, oh, it just flooded for a day. And even then, we're talking an entire sea. That's a whole bunch of fucking water. That is a lot of water, an entire sea to submerge half of the pyramid. And the fact that there was an actual caked on sea salt, that means it was there for a while. So the pyramid is way older.
Clearly suggests that the pyramids and their accompanying sphinx are in reality so old they even had once been submerged in ocean waters. An ancient ocean which over the eons has shifted, leaving behind sediment in the form of the desert sands. There are many enormous ancient megalithic stones hidden in and around the three great pyramids of Egypt. Not only are there enormous ancient stones virtually hidden in plain sight, thus, although walked across, largely overlooked, hardly ever mentioned, and never explained in regards to their transport and placement, as modern academia will never be able to provide a logical, sound explanation for these feats. The casing stones, an area of interest we have explored and documented, not only display vastly different ages, but also construction methods and types of stones sourced and used. Ultimately, undeniable proof of efforts to preserve the outer stones of these incredible ancient pyramids later on within their history. Signature tool marks, unique features such as protuberances, masonry shapes, polygonal stone walling, and many other features which we have discovered during our explanations into the relics of lost antiquity. Yet Egypt's most intriguing assets, and we feel the most baffling relics which all alternative historians should have within their debacle armory, are undoubtedly to be found within the once abruptly abandoned quarries. The unfinished obelisk found at Aswan being one such relic, the most well-known of these incredible stones by a long way. Not only is the obelisk over 1,000 tons, but also due to the identifiable scoop-like tool marks left upon its granite sides, a signature scarring, which again,
Oh, here we go with commercials. Oh, good Lord.
again, we
Now, as I was saying, as I was pointing out, Polar Bear, I mean, look at that. Look at the lines. This isn't Stonehenge where it's just, like stones like that, where it's just grabbing a big megalithic stone and, putting it in a similar shape and then moving it and stacking it. Look at the cuts. These are perfect right angles. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So yeah, as I said, Stonehenge is Stonehenge. It's great, it's beautiful, but this is perfect.
have so far found, explored, and shared this marking at many other ancient sites around the world. Who were the original builders of the Great Pyramids? Were they the same group that quarried Aswan? What tools did these people use to cut many of the relics still left at the Elephantine Island quarry? How can anyone gaze upon such precision stonework and not ponder, how did he accomplish such an incredible finish with such hard stone, with such soft chisels and those made of copper?
Or bronze.
Not only do we find the currently attested tale of events vastly incomplete, but in many ways virtually impossible. Predictable.
I mean, look at that. I didn't even notice that. Look at the freaking drill holes. Didn't even notice the holes and the perfect lines going down. Just absolute perfect corners, everything. We got a perfect little lip right there. You cannot do that with handheld tools. You just can't. And perfectly smooth. Absolutely smooth. But the drill holes, wow. How are you doing that? They're perfect circles. I don't know if you can see the detail in that, but those are perfect circles. How? In one of the hardest stones with what? Copper tools? No, never.
We are often confronted with an illogical explanation as to the origins of many unexplainable ruins. Yet Egypt, in particular Aswan and Giza, were clearly the work of a group capable of working and building with 1,000-ton plus stones. With columns of pink Aswan granite weighing over 14 tons each, over 10,000 kilometers to Baalbek. Is this connection mere coincidence? Or are the builders of said sites connected somehow? Possibly one and the same? Questions we get closer to answering every day. We find it highly compelling. Neolithic man is often talked of as if he were a very different being to that of the modern man. Throughout the modern era, a well-funded, close-knit, often aristocratic academia has portrayed Neolithic man as an illiterate figure, often leopard print toga wearing, club wielding, bearded nincompoop, a grubby, forceful, filthy beast who had barely managed to master the art of creating fire, let alone complex language or societal behaviors. This paradigm of us emerging for the first time from the last ice age, developing into the complex, advanced civilization we find ourselves in, means that Origins of Man is somewhat of a closed book. For to preserve this influential dominance within modern society, anything which contradicts this long attested claim is simply thrown out, discarded as an anomaly, and any who pursue such avenues of inquiry a mere conspiracy theorist, this regardless of the evidence we so eagerly put forth in our defense. Countless still existing astonishing anomalies, unexplained, simply baffling feats of ancient engineering, so often covered here on our channel, either merely ignored or claimed as absent an explanation.
Okay. This was something I didn't know about. So I'm learning. This was only posted a month ago. I mean, it's been in my folder since it came out. I'm just now getting around to watching it for the first time with all of you. But yeah, look at this. An iron pot with, the scoops and everything for pouring inside of a lump of coal, inside of it. This is before they removed it. This is inside of a lump of coal. So we're talking 300 million years. This is my first time even seeing this. So I'm just, why? Why is this not like on CNN? Why is this not everywhere? Well, we're going to have to rewrite the textbooks. This is the stuff that pisses me off about why are they hiding this shit? What purpose does it serve to not tell the truth about this stuff? So, as I said earlier, humanity is older than we previously thought. So, and there's ancient technologies. Humanity had knowledge that we lost. Okay, well then fix it. That would be my answer. Well, what if they admit that aliens are real or humanity is millions of years old and we lost this technology? I'd be like, okay, well then get off your fucking asses and go find it. Go fix it. That's what I would tell people. So you wouldn't be freaked out? Why the fuck would I be freaked out? I'm from the generation that went from 3 channels and black and white TV and UHF and having that little switch thing in the back of your TV to get UHF. I'm from that generation into, and the console TVs. I'm from that into personal computers. I lived through that. So it's not going to be some like, oh my God, look at this newfangled. I'm before the time of, as far as, lasers that you can have yourself. And I'm before all of that. So it's not like I really care about any of that stuff. So just admit that, okay, humanity is older. We have or had technology that somehow or another we lost, and we're trying to work on getting it back. I don't see what's so hard about that.
As to how the work of our well-studied more recent ancestors, people who were simply incapable of completing such mammoth tasks. Many of these ancient ruins, claimed as more recent achievements, we feel, possess sufficient evidence to support far greater ages littering many said sites, clearly built using far more advanced precision technologies, and Neolithic sites are of no exception. We believe here on the channel that the size of many of these highly eroded prehistoric stone trilithons, and indeed stones contained within many enormous dolmens, are also left by this ancient group. Dolmens made using similar, if not identical techniques throughout the world, from Scotland to Ireland to Japan, all of similar design and possessing inexplicable features, bored entrances, multi-ton megaliths. It is as if this group still possessed the knowledge of how to lift and work such stones, but had lost the technologies used to carve with precision. It is as if they were a surviving remnant of a once more capable, or more precisely, better equipped civilization. How did this ancient people, academically claimed as never having had any contact, build such similar structures? Or perhaps, more importantly, and the feature which initially attracted us to Neolithic ruins, the size of their stonework. Megaliths often incorporated into their structures, forming trilithons or entrance tunnels with top slabs upon dolmens, sometimes up to 8 feet aloft, weighing well over 100 tons. Our discoveries at Newgrange and Donore in Meath, Ireland, with a slab tunnel entrance, like so many Neolithic granges and barrows, regardless of their immense size, once precisely aligned them with solstices, yet they remain mostly buried and thus most conveniently concealed. Some argue that the most impressive Neolithic dwellings can be found dotting the Japanese landscape. However, we feel the most archaeological interesting of
I don't want to be on TV. Oh God, with their stupid commercials. Who cares?
Neolithic sites dot the United Kingdom, France, and some areas of the US, yet particularly Scotland and Ireland. Sites which have fragments of ancient symbols left within, celestial alignments, and a similar pattern decoration or possibly coded message which crop up over and over, especially one found all over the world of a strange enigmatic spiral. And although usually found sparsely decorating Neolithic sites, barrows, and internal earthworks, its reoccurrence so regularly must indicate it as once having been significant and important to them in some way. Yet, for some reason, Gavernus is undoubtedly the most spectacular of them all. This little shared ruin displays this symbol significance in their carvings as seemingly fanatically overwhelming. Located in France, to have so many of these patterns clearly arranged in careful and concise manners by a people capable of aligning 100 plus ton rocks with pinpoint accuracy, we feel should be perceived as a very deliberate and important undertaking, perhaps in an attempt to convey a message to a future people, a people far removed from themselves in terms of language, a fact they may have fully understood, having, as we believe, experienced global cataclysm in living memory. So, encoded messages, yet to be deciphered or even recognized as such, hidden within symbolism rather than writings. Are Gavernus's spirals mere decoration? If so, why go to such great efforts? Are these spirals an ancient code? Possibly a warning, a message yet to be unraveled? Whoever created Gavernus, and for whatever purpose, remains a mystery yet to be solved. Gavernus is a place very much still unexplained, yet very rarely shared academically. As such, it is a place we find highly compelling. Multiple sites nowadays are often, due to their immense age and their impossible characteristics yet to be explained, their size and precision, although clearly of an artificial, as yet unexplainable nature.
See, these are the things I truly wonder about. I mean, it's stuff that, of course, within the last 3 years. I mean, I'm not talking about the stuff I've known about for many, many years. I'm talking about just the things that are now being put out in just like the last 3 or 4 years. Why is it that they're not spoken about? Why is it that it's stuff that's hidden, stuff that is almost kept under wraps? Bright Insight, who was a soldier in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and all that, took photos of ancient cities and places while they were there, and then the terrorists came in because they want to destroy history and destroyed these things. The winged sphinx things that did the entrance of these ancient cities and whatever, just started coming in and just blowing them up, just completely just destroying them, destroying ancient history. I don't understand what the point of all this is. All of these grand secrets of lost technology. I don't understand why people are going out of their way to hide it, destroy it, to keep it from us. What purpose? I keep saying this over and over. What purpose does it serve to hide this stuff?
Alas, if it contradicts modern paradigm, is deliberately overlooked en masse, or when claimed as a permitted known world history group's work, is always absent methodological explanations as to how they achieve these feats. Academics controlled via financial and vocational security, ultimately becoming the arch enemy of a field that should be dynamic in nature, ever changing, expanding, and accurate, a pioneering pursuit into the mysteries of history, and indeed ourselves in regards to true historical fact. A career of submissive deceit, many presumably went into the field with good intentions, yet quickly learned that they must toe the mainstream line if they were to survive, a theory that they all must know is fiction. They in unison defend and continue to push as conclusive fact, when the truth is, we have barely scratched the surface of the history of ourselves, or indeed the universe, the place we call home. The task of shipping the Lamassu would have shown the curators of the London Museum, and indeed all involved and all interested in this undertaking, just what an incredible feat the transportation of these statues must have once been. For the museum chose a mere modest statue, and the arduous 9-month task along with the custom built ramps, would have shown them what we claim is clearly fact. They were fully aware of the unexplainable nature of the monuments and the mystery of how they transported them more than a century ago. So, why all the secrets? Why hide our past? If we were introduced to the real mysteries currently hidden regarding life, it would inspire, free, and help so many people on their journey through life, as it enables us all to pursue a logical explanation in regards to where we all came from, or
I was about to say that, where we all came from.
Many sites dot the earth, which have either experienced cataclysm, sea salt halfway up the pyramid sides, inner chambers coated, marine shells found around the Sphinx's base, a mega metropolis recently rediscovered, abandoned, and reclaimed by the jungle of Guatemala, which once contained over 10 million civilians. Many other sites, mostly quarries due to the unfinished processed stones that were underway, display abandonment of said work abruptly. Thus, not only is
Oh, what is with these? Like tons of commercials. Oh, good Lord.
is there evidence that can be found throughout the earth of past cataclysm and quarrying undertakings seemingly left as if the culprits vanished. It is clear something happened. However, although if dated at more than the permitted chronology of man is denied as artificial, regardless of the obvious fact they were man built, this same field, geology, have, however, become unwitting, unpredicted ally to the channel's overall mission. In other areas of our investigations, their dating of water redistribution, for example, how rivers, seas, and ice radically changes location geographically over thousands of years, and due to this geology accurately dating when an area became submerged. The changing of the seas and the date in which these events occurred, with still flooded sites worldwide, a number of which we have so far covered. Bimini Road being one such anomaly, one of these artifacts that, although submerged, thanks to academia's astute studies into the dates at which water levels change, allows for dates far earlier than currently attested timelines of man can allow. Due to these dates, and the fact that they were clearly once built upon dry land, gives each ruin a minimum age far older than academia can ever admit to.
Yep.
Floodings dated by these same geologists, who were crucially initially unaware of their existence, have dated many submerged ruins, including a number of pyramid complexes at far
There's the one that's off the coast of Cuba. And yeah, see, it's for these places too, and of course you got the Bimini Road that's, over here. For these places to have been on land, we are talking a very long time ago. I mean, it's so weird. We know this is a sunken city. At first, academia did everything they could to deny it, lie about it, hide it. We know it is a sunken city now. We know it. It is. They've had to fucking admit it. Fact is, they're doing everything they can not to talk about it. They sure as hell are doing everything they can to not date it at all. Again, why? Who does it harm to admit we are older and have been on this planet much longer than these academia idiots have been saying that we are? How does it fuck anything up in our lives today to admit that stuff? I don't understand.
Over 10 to 20,000 years old, with some floodings dated as occurring sometimes upwards of hundreds of thousands of years
That's
ago.
the one off of Japan.
For many of these sites, due to them not having been re-inhabited and left to the elements since their original abandonment, are clearly intelligently created ruins with clear artificial origins. Door cuts, right angles, even polygonal masonry, all denied as anything but geological by those who have even been there. Yet again, due to Gornia Shoria's immense size, sediment buildups, thus clearly prehistoric age, clearly proves any denial of artificial origin as an obvious conspiratorial lie. The fact that modern paradigm doesn't tell of any advanced civilization at this location within known history, thus no archaeological footprints left by a later people, relics which would have allowed academics to label said groups as undoubtedly the builders, and the undeniable evidence of prehistoric age, they must overlook such evidence. It must be overlooked or dismissed. The better at this you are, the more popular these institutions make you. If no civilization was ever recorded re-inhabiting an area at any time throughout permitted history, thus no archaeology, it is far too controversially old for academics to study. So the denial continues. Yet, ironically, the undeniable is the ultimate weapon. Slain by their own proverbial sword, the strategy of deceit is always succeeded by the truth, for the truth is grounded, unchanging, immovable, and founded upon a solid foundation. When such an occasion arises, the mere introduction of logical honesty, due to it being the truth, is far too fitting and in reflection of our regular expose of the lies littering modern teachings of history. The truth sticks, it resonates. Once the truth is exposed, it never dies. It is immortalized and unchanging. All we have ever wanted is for our viewers to ask themselves the questions we painstakingly search for the answers to ourselves. And we have dedicated a number of years of extremely hard work in amassing such a vast collection of stories, evidence, and other aspects supporting our work, regardless of MSM's reluctancy to ever promote, popularize, or pursue such subjects within their studies, papers, journals, or articles. Those towing the line of illogical dating and explanations for origins must deny the obvious artificial nature. It's one or the other. We find all of these things highly compelling. The modern day institution, man's way of organizing belief systems into their different clans, cult like attitudes, often driven by an existential perception, specialisms of some form, or merely a naturally occurring passion. They are either built around a certain series of events or an apparent fact or claim, which stand as the cornerstones of said.
Seriously, how many commercials do you got to keep putting in there? It's ridiculous.
Institution. It is therefore within the profiteers of said ideology's interests to not only suppress any evidence that may surface that would make their treasured institutions crumble to their very core foundation, but to actively destroy said relics whenever one gets an opportunity to do so. The Bamiyan Buddha, for example, apparently this monstrous carving, perfectly bored into a sheer rock face in the Bamiyan Valley of central Afghanistan, is not only a relic, which we hypothesize was left by a now lost civilization, but due to the facial features once masterfully depicted upon the statue, removed at some later time within history, carved flat, not only making its identification as Buddha questionable, it was for some reason completely destroyed during the Iraq War.
Because the Iraqi people, these fucking terrorists, I don't. Everything is about Allah, and it's like, well, okay, well, why do you need to destroy history if your Allah is all that? What you shouldn't need to destroy history. Which, of course, it comes right back to Jehovah. All of it, is nothing but just some creation lies, and everybody's doing everything they can to hide it, to hide the truth of what's actually out there. Humanity obviously built the fucking shit. Just admit it, and then we can move on. But this whole thing of destroying stuff to try and obviously, you dumbasses, this is what gets me. These fucking dumbasses. Obviously, there were pictures. There were already pictures. So you're not really destroying anything because there was already evidence of the shit actually being there. You're not erasing it because you destroyed it. There's already evidence that it was there. But, these fucking dumbasses got to just destroy everything that they fucking touch.
Its destruction, I propose, supports our prior posit of it indeed being that of a lost civilization's work, this being the sole motive for such actions.
Yep.
Interestingly, hidden voids found behind the carving, if it were indeed a solid carving, as one would have once presumed when gazing upon it, how were these hollow chambers once placed behind said carving? Additionally, not only do most modern institutions deny any of the evidence we so often put forward on our channel, often in regards to a past lost civilization, but fields such as geology is simply actively writing off countless ancient sites and anomalies as simply geological coincidences, their existence being an impossibility according to already established, supposedly concluded chronology for human civilization. One reoccurring strategy, which I like to call the pareidolia effect denial, has befallen countless sites of interest. One of the most hotly debated being the face on Mars, now simply dismissed as a trick of light, the intriguing pyramidal features nearby, which also somehow align with Pleiades. This denial strategy has condemned other said features here on Earth, some of which found in remote places that, according to modern academia, have simply never been inhabited. Thus, regardless of the artificial nature of such places as Gornia Shoria, must be dismissed as mere coincidental geological features. The ruins clearly immense age, often used, in an unfortunate twist of fate, as support of such claims, as nature eventually reclaims all. Thus, the older the ruin, the easier this said denial strategy is to argue. That is, until now, in a modern era, where modern technology now allows us to collect a massive amount of information on simply anything, unexplained features, parts, and many other advanced unexplained legacies of an antiquity, once hidden, now shared far and wide, evidence which flies in the face of modern paradigm. This Charonian is yet another of these curious, clearly immensely old anomalies that, regardless of its form, once being carved from extremely tough rock, maybe this is why our lost ancestors built with such enormous stones, and did so in an as yet unexplained, yet clearly highly advanced way, known as polygonal masonry. Perhaps they built like this so that their footprint here on our planet be long-lived, designed to deliberately be resistant to the elements, to reach us now in the modern day, giving all of us an opportunity to understand the real history of our Earth, regardless of what others would like. We find all of these things highly compelling. Osaka Castle is one of the most intriguing of all of Japan's forgotten wonders, a place we have covered in the past. It was, we believe, like so many other inexplicable sites around the world, re-inhabited by our most recent of ancestors, placed within an academically permitted timeline of events. A chronology that, if one wishes to succeed in the mainstream, must toe the line of. For if one goes against the grain and explores the site with a critical mind, one can clearly see it contains a number of surviving features, which not only displays lost knowledge, thus the work of a lost civilization, which at some point in the very distant past built ruins all around the globe, building countless polygonal ruins which have, due to their incredible construction technique, fortunately survived into the modern era. However, it is not just its polygonal foundations which show clear evidence of these elusive
Seriously, you realize YouTube has more commercials than live TV?
and consistently denied lost ancestors. Octopus Rock, for example, also sometimes known as the Drum Stone, is the largest megalithic stone found within the walls within the castle's grounds. This giant stone, just like those of Baalbek, is enormous. Estimates for its weight range from 100 to 300 tons, although it could, of course, be far heavier. However, even at these conservative estimates, any explanation of how ancient man accomplished such feats remains elusive. For the fact remains, the stone is of an incredible size, and to this day, its placement, along with many others found throughout the world, remains unexplained and unknown. So, for one to conclude that this stone's use, its quarrying, transporting, and placement within this wall, was done by our less capable, more primitive post Ice Age ancestors, yet all these methods of building and lifting, the knowledge of how to do such tasks, somehow simply vanished through the ages, all of which now remaining a mystery even with computer technology. An explanation still evades us. Thus, to conclude this to be anything else than that of a relic left by a far older, now lost civilization's work, we believe would be highly illogical and should appear illogical to anyone with a capacity to dissect the purposes for these actions, taken by an academia claiming to hold all the answers, all the while actively concealing or ignoring any conflicting controversial evidence, truths that, due to their belief in their power, laying within their reluctance to ever admit an incorrect hypothesis for the origins of species or the timeline of man. Thus, this doubling down on fallacy merely makes their persistence at sticking to said posits not only a damaging conspiracy, which robs us all of our heritage, but can also be perceived as an attempt to conceal anything which could alter the status quo. The octopus rock is an incredible feat of ancient engineering, and one, just like that of the polygonal masonry techniques that can be found at countless other sites the world over, is clearly a relic of a forgotten past, accomplished with the use of forgotten technology and knowledge. Just how big is Octopus Rock? How old is it, for that matter? And how did our ancient ancestors accomplish these feats? As our research deepens and our studies widen, our target, that of a currently hidden lost civilization, becomes clearer in the mind every day, and it is only a matter of time before they are fully rediscovered. To deny such facts will eventually become too ludicrous. It is a journey of discovery which is undoubtedly highly compelling. When an ancient ruin is academically studied, it will often be attributed as the work of a far more recent, already studied, thus previously permitted group placed within known history, often a group simply incapable of such undertakings. Furthermore, not only do many sites hold evidence of a far older yet far more advanced builder having once been responsible for their construction, but such sites can often share characteristics with ancient ruins found far away, features from a said site also found on another continent on the other side of the globe. False doors, for example, found over countless ancient ruins spanning much of the world. This reoccurrence, along with many other similar signature features, are far from mere coincidence and can only be explained by a past intercontinental, highly capable lost civilization, as we have postulated in the past in regards to many factors indicative of their megalithic legacy. Metal clamps identified on differing continents, varying in style and composition relative to what was presumably readily available. So, although they differ in style, the knowledge of how to create and use such ancient technology had clearly been the work of the same civilization. The pyramids of Uimer, for example, are six rectangular pyramids you would more than likely have never heard of, and most certainly would not have been taught of their existence by modern mainstream academia. Built from lava stone without the use of mortar, they are uncannily reminiscent of many structures within the South Americas. They are located in the districts of Chacona, part of the town of Uimer, on the island of Tenerife in the Canary Islands, Spain. The structures have been attempted to be dismissed as nothing but 19th century buildings, argued as the byproduct of contemporary agricultural techniques. Yet their infamous shape and the signature building techniques incorporated into said structures are undeniably found elsewhere on Earth. Other pyramids employing the same methods and materials of construction can be found in various sites on Tenerife. In Uimer itself, there were 9 pyramids, any yet, regardless of academics attesting to them being no more than a century old. Only 6 of the pyramids survive to this day. In 1990, adventurer and publisher Thor Heyerdahl became aware of the Canarian pyramids by reading an article written by Francisco Pedron in the Tenerife newspaper Diario de Avisos, detailing the quote, real pyramids of the Canaries, as Heyerdahl had hypothesized a transatlantic link between Egypt and Central America, which is a subtle way of saying a now lost yet once global superpower who once ruled the waves. He became intrigued by the Uimer pyramids and relocated to Tenerife. Heyerdahl hypothesized that the Canarian pyramids formed a temporal and geographical stopping point on voyages between ancient Egypt and the so-called Mayan civilization's ruins, a claim we agree with. Yet we posit that this contact was not between the Egyptians and Mayans, but was one and the same force, a far older, now lost world-conquering civilization, an ingenious group who not only passed on their wisdom to every corner of the world, but even built in ways we are yet to understand. Unexplainable anomalies litter many ancient ruins to this day. Heyerdahl had predictably initiated a controversy with historians, esoterics, archaeologists, astronomers. Most of mainstream academia staunchly opposed such claims. By suggesting such an hypothesis, which flies in the face of already established paradigms, his research was predictably never pursued further than Heyerdahl personally took it. Yet I feel he succeeded in publishing a ruthlessly honest opinion in regards to the ruins, regardless of what was already apparently established as fact. And along with our research within Bosda caves and the similarities, differentiations, and other investigative strategies utilized to support such an argument of a now lost world-going super-civilization, we feel the evidence for our case is now all but overwhelming. There
As I pointed out, it just, and this is just one of the many videos that I follow. As I said, Mystery History 2, Bright Insight. There's a lot of the sites that I follow. It makes no sense that these things they're considered in academia anomalies. You can't just have, we're not talking about a goat that grows a single horn and we call it a unicorn, Barnum and Bailey Circus and everything. We're not talking about an anomaly like that. We're talking about a megalithic structure. Something that was built is not an anomaly. Something that it took a lot of people or a lot of technology or both to build something specifically is not some anomalous thing that just happened, As I said, we're not talking about somebody born with a deformity, oh, that's an anomaly. We're talking about something that was specifically built, megalithic city, megalithic structure. And these people just go out of their way to hide it, to deny it, to cover it up, or destroy it. Just everything to, and as I said, we're not talking, at least as far as I know, we're not talking about the latest military technology, F-22 Raptor, We're not talking about, the secrets of our nuclear sub, program. We're talking about ancient civilizations. If they want to hide, like say they actually did find shit, as far as technology, ancient technology, stargates or whatever, fine, keep that shit hidden. Fine, great. But at least admit, can't you at least admit, you know what? Hey, we're tired of lying to you guys. These cities are tens of thousands of years old. Yeah, we actually did, we're going to admit to you guys. Sorry, we've been lying to you this whole time. That humanity is like 300 million years old. Sorry, we were lying to all. I don't. As I said, if they want to hide the technology, like say we already have space travel and shit. Y'all want to hide that? Great. Whatever. Fine. But hiding how old humanity is, hiding that these cities and ancient civilizations are older, hiding all of that stuff. As again, I keep pointing out, what purpose does it serve to hide that? I've never understood it at all. I mean, again, who, all the people I have spoken with, and we're talking about other fellow pagans, we're talking about Christian people, Bible thumpers, people, these Jehovah's Witnesses. I've talked to like lots of people over my lifetime. I've pretty much asked every single one of them if humanity if it's admitted that we are way older, civilization is way older than they've been lying this whole damn time, would you care? Would you care? And everybody's like, no, I don't really wouldn't give a shit. Nobody would care. So, I mean, we were watching something the other day. I can't remember what it was or so. I can't remember, but I was like, oh my god, it's like vampires. If vampires were, if it was like True Blood, and vampires were to come out going, hey, how you doing, guys? Yep, we've been here this whole time, vampires and shit. Yeah, we're not a myth, we're real. Do you really think in 2019 most people would give a fuck? It'd be just like True Blood. People would be like, well, why have y'all been hiding this whole fucking time? Y'all could have come out years ago, especially when Twilight came out and shit. When Interview with a Vampire came out, when the Queen of the Dead, you guys could have, Lost Boys, you guys could have come out a long time ago. No, nobody cares. So wait, nobody cares. It'd be like Hotel Transylvania. It's like, I'm Dracula. It's like, Dracula's cool, Dracula's real. Wait, they're not afraid of us. I don't think anybody would give a fuck. So seriously, you academics out there, you politicians that know about Area 51, or that, it wouldn't even just be, it has to be our governments involved in all of this cover up and shit. Anybody who would watch this video, seriously, just stop. Just stop. Who would care? You're really gonna keep this? Well, we don't want people to panic. We don't want to cause a panic. Who? The rare one fucking neighbor that may like commit suicide, that may run down the street with the billboard, the end is coming, with the bell and shit. Are we really keeping all of this secret because of those fucked up idiots that wouldn't know how to deal with the truth? So the majority of us are going to be kept in the dark because of these other idiots that are broken no matter what. Oh my God, the price of tea went up by 10 cents. That's it. I'm depressed now. These are those people. You're literally keeping ancient knowledge, ancient civilizations, our history. You're keeping it hidden because of weak-minded, dumbass fucking people who may kill themselves because they learn the truth. So I hate to tell you, and I've been saying this in all my fucking videos, I don't give a fuck about those weak ass people. Hey, I had a top secret clearance. As far as I know, I still have a top secret clearance. At least let me know. I'll sign an NDA. I don't care. Let me know that the shit is real. I'm good with that. I got a whole bunch of friends that will gladly fucking sign NDAs. Just let us know the truth. Turn around, give us, these big ass War and Peace giant family Bible fucking folders and let us read the shit, or give us the microfilm, or give us the information. We won't put it out. At least let us know. Somebody call me. Somebody in these black ops groups, somebody fucking call me and tell me, well, hey, this is the reason why we don't want to tell anybody, this stuff. If it sounds good enough, like, hey, damn, that's a good enough reason why we don't want to let these fucking fucktards know the truth of this shit, I'll be fine with that. I'll be perfectly fine with it. But but I'll tell you right now, if it's a dumb reason and it's some stupid fucking, Brent Spiner, that played the character from fucking Independence Day. It's like, as you can see, they don't let us out much. That fucking fucktard that's like, no, we need to keep it a secret. Because if it's one of those people like that dude, like there's some singular fucking fucked out, cracked up geek that is basically saying, well, we can't let the people know this stuff, because let me speak to that person. So I could turn around and go, so what it sounds like to me is you're wanting to keep this shit secret, not because of any legitimate reason, because like it's a personal, like the collector in the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, you want to keep the truth to yourself so you can feel special for yourself. Because something tells me that's exactly what it is. As I said, if you want to keep all the technology, like y'all found ancient technology, y'all want to keep that shit secret, fine, dandy, whatever. Don't give a fuck. But the actual truth of where we come from, how old the earth is, how old these ancient civilizations really are, if it's some dumbass geek that is keeping all of that secret for the dumbest of fucking reasons, no, just beat the fuck out of that dude, slap that bitch around, be like, no, look, we'll keep all the other shit secret, the technology and whatever, all that shit secret, but this stuff we're no longer going to hide. We're going to let it out. Do that. Just do that. I guarantee you, yes, you're going to have these like social justice warrior kind of fucking people like, we want to know the whole truth. We want to see the spaceships, the people that invaded Area 51 or wanted to, those fucking fucktards and everything. I mean, if that's the reason why y'all haven't released anything is because of these fucking dumbasses, just ignore them. Just do what we do. Ignore them. They're stupid. Just ignore them. As I said, just put the information out or send it to us personally. As I said, somebody show up at my house, knock on the door going, hey, you need to sign this NDA. I'm good with that. I'm perfectly good with that. I'll be like, all right, let me see the file now. I signed it. Let me see the file. I mean, obviously, if I tell anybody you're going to bury me under the prison or something, or just vaporize me or something, I get it. But let me at least know the truth. Anyway, I know I'm getting carried away. I know this video is going to be about an hour long because the video itself was like 30 minutes long. Anyway, I'll get to whatever next. I'll probably do the flat earth thing pretty soon because I saw this other one and it's just fucking hilarious. Not that the person, because it's Simon Dan, really like Simon Dan, but it's one of the Dean Marble, I think that's his name, black guy who sounds like every time I see his shit, he just sounds more and more like a dumbass every time I see him. Anyway, so we'll get to that eventually. I'll probably just chill out for making any more videos. What, the 5th or 6th video tonight? As I said, I'm trying to clear all these damn folders so I can I'm trying to catch up so I can actually do just like a video or two a week. But because my whole folder is just full of fucking videos, I'm trying to empty those out first. Anyway, love y'all. Peace.